Copying gurus feels productive until it wrecks your life. I'm Jay. I'm an NLP, neurotrauma therapy, and mindset certified coach, and I've trained with the likes of Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, not to mention a bunch more, and I'm an award-winning coach in Hawaii when I lived there. And look, 7-8 years ago, I was in a depression so hard, I needed anything to try to get out of it. So I did what everyone does, or what a lot of people do, and I tried copying the gurus. I'm sure you've been there. 4 a.m. alarms, or as I call it, system no sleep, where you shrink recovery, spike your cortisol, and pretend exhaustion is discipline. How about the 10x grind, or system more pain, where you confuse suffering with progress and you wear burnout like it's a damn badge? Or my favorite, shiny affirmations, or system say it, don't do it, where you rehearse fantasies, but you skip the most important step in getting anything, and that's the reps. Look, when I copied these systems, I was already at very close to rock bottom and I needed something. So I was gung-ho and I burned out so hard, I slid into more depression and an imposter spiral so hard, I thought there was something inherently wrong with me. And the harder I pushed, the worse I felt. It was terrible. But hey, I'm out of it. You can be as well. So if that's you, listen up. I'm breaking down 3 guru myths that keep you stuck in the mindset shifts that will actually stick. And there's one mistake that quietly ruins your progress every single day, and I'll show you a 7-day experiment to fix it. So let's start with the hustle trap, because that one nearly broke me, and I don't want it to break you too. All right, and I got a fancy presentation to show you myth 1. So here we are, myth 1, the hustle trap versus sustainable systems, and along with it, your first mindset shift. The thing most people miss about hustle is that it works until it wrecks you. Hustle culture breeds burnout and inconsistent results because you're tying your identity to the output. And when the output dips, your self-worth tanks and everything you've been hustling for spirals. I'm sure you've felt that. I know I have. The cost, it unfortunately shows up in your health. It shows up in your relationships. Even in your creativity. I've been so burned out, like I just have no creativity anymore. I was a blogger, and on days I was super burned out as I was trying to kickstart my blogging career, I guess, so to speak. I had no creativity. I had nothing, man. It was a struggle. And then you start to fear rest. And then you lose that spark that made you start in the first place and want to do this. I mean, you hear terms like rise and grind, sleep when you're dead, 4 a.m. alarms, new one, 75 hard, dopamine detox marathons. And then you wonder why you're cooked by week 3. Let me put an asterisk here. Some of these things are really good. Don't get me wrong. I've done some. I've definitely done the 4 a.m. alarm. It worked at times, but you have to be ready for it. You can't just jump into these things. You have to be prepared. You have to build a foundation. All right. And here's where that one mistake shows up. It'll kind of show up through every one of these, and I'll get to it. But the one mistake that I brought up, it shows up everywhere. And it's the first place it nearly broke me, honestly. The shift that changed how I work on all this stuff, moved from intensity to consistency. Huge, huge. Everyone wants the intensity because you feel like a football player. I don't know, a marathon runner in the Olympics because I got to be intense. You're Michael Jordan. But intensity to consistency. You got to start with that consistency. Build systems with constraints and micro habits so that output follows reliable inputs. When your process is small and repeatable, your mood stops running the show. You don't need monster days. You need minimums that you can hit even on the rough days. I want to show you exactly how you can create a minimum viable effort, an MVE on your goal. So for example, I started doing this with editing blog posts and YouTube scripts now even every morning for 20 minutes. And I probably started with 10. It was lower than 20, built up to 20. But it's tiny, it's repeatable, and it's scoreable. And it's something you can build on. You can build this as big as you want, but you got to build that foundation, minimum viable effort though, all right? My favorite starter, as I kind of alluded to, is a 20-minute focused block of work and a 5-minute review. If you can't do 20, do 15, right? It's not that long. You just sit down and focus for 15 minutes. During the review, that 5-minute review, You note 3 things: time spent, a focus score from 1 to 5. Hey, it's really important to know and to tell ourselves when we were distracted. Was it our phone? What was it? And then you do like 1 line of progress. And that's it. Then do a short weekly review at the end with those same 3 metrics: time, focus, progress. And this gives you receipts without drowning in the data. So that's what we always do, right? We have spreadsheets on spreadsheets and all this data everywhere, 10 systems to track every damn thing. We don't need it, right? Now, here's where most people mess up, right? They create all or nothing plans. They write vague goals like be productive, be motivated, or they track a dozen different metrics and they burn out on the tracking. I've burned out on the tracking at least 10 freaking times. I got to make it so simple for myself. So you keep it boring, you keep it tight. Use the CAP filter before adding anything else. Can I do it daily? Is there an automatic trigger? And do I get proof of progress? All right. Can I? Automatic trigger, proof of progress. Don't question why the letters are in that order. All right. I just had to make it make sense. So if it fails in any part of this CAP, shrink it. Shrink your MVE. All right. Think less 75 hard and more James Clear's tiny habits, or even Cal Newport's slow productivity. Small, steady, sustainable. So, quick story here. When I burned out super hard and I was, almost rock bottom, if not. And I started this minimum viable effort, right? It felt almost insulting. It was so small. I was like, how can this get me anywhere? But by day 4 or 5, hey man, I had 4 or 5 checklists on a little notepad by my bedside every day. Check marks gave me that dopamine hit, but a good dopamine hit. And that noise in my head was kind of starting to get quieter, even if by a little bit. It wasn't insulting me at every turn, telling me I wasn't shit, And once you nail consistency, everything else starts to click. Not because you pushed harder, right? But because your system carried you. So, I'm going to jump into myth 2. This is manifestation magic versus reality-based agency and your second mindset shift. I love the idea of believing in yourself. You have to. But here is the honest to God truth. Magical thinking delays action. And hey, if you're looking for it, you may notice that same mistake I referenced. If you can figure it out, it's showing up in this one too. It's definitely showing up in this shift as well. And it's just wearing a different costume. So anyway, I'll get to that in a little bit. Hope is not a plan. All right. I spent months believing, hey, it's coming, while I was dodging the actual work to bring it. That drift, it breeds frustration that I felt for so long. You start to wonder if something is actually wrong with you because it's not happening. You're trying to manifest this stuff. You're hoping, but you're not doing the steps to get there. And so you start to have this really weird paradoxical thing internally or mentally where you're doing these steps they're telling you to do, but nothing is happening. But you're not actually doing the work to get there. You're just manifesting this stuff. You have maybe a vision board, but what steps are you taking to get there? And I like manifestation. I like vision boards. I like visualizing. I like affirmations, but they have to be part of a system. They can't just be done on their own, right? So you start to wonder if something's wrong with you. And that is a god-awful feeling. So the truth is, nothing is wrong. You've just been visualizing the finish line without building the steps to actually get there. Again, I do visualization. I like visualization, but you also have to visualize the steps to take to get there and take action on them. So, think endless affirmations, the secret style, ask, believe, receive, vision boards with no next action. Lots of vibe, little behavior. So the shift that's key here is to reality-based agency. Visualize the process, not the outcome. Turn goals into controllables such as input, skills, and reps. And the shortcut nobody teaches you is that your brain needs friction rehearsed, not just success imagined. So I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. If and when you do visualization and affirmations, your brain needs friction rehearsed, not just success imagined, right? So I'll show you exactly how with this WHOOP system. WHOOP is, if you don't know, wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. It focuses your attention and prepares you for resistance, the resistance that's going to come up. It will, all right? So wish, one clear goal. Outcome, why that goal matters, why it matters to you. Feel it, but keep it brief. We're trying to make this minimum effort. Obstacle, what's the most likely internal blocker? Like, I'm going to reach for my phone. That's a big one for me. Then plan. Have an if-then statement that lives in the real world. So, for example, if I sit down to work at 7:30 on this goal, then my phone goes in the other room, goes off, whatever it is, and you start a 20-minute block. Your phone's not even by you to distract you, right? And now your goal becomes a 30-minute daily practice. 20 minutes of focused work, 10 minutes to log your evidence, all right? Maybe even just 5 to log your evidence. Gives you a little break in there. So common mistakes. I already kind of alluded to them, but vision boards with no next action. Affirmations without the behaviors. Big one. Pretending constraints don't exist. You have to work with the constraints. They're part of reality-based agency. You're going to have constraints, all right? Here's a method that I love, the 1 layer deeper question. What's the controllable layer under this dream? If the dream is grow my channel, the controllable is, okay, publish 2 focused videos with a weekly review. Belief without behavior never moved the needle for me. Process did. 1 layer deeper. Now myth 3, fake it till you make it versus identity from evidence. And mindset shift number 3. We're finally there to the final one. Fake it till you make it. Hey, we've all heard it. We've probably all said it. I've said it. It sounds empowering and there's some truth to it, right? But if you pretend too much and you're not doing any action to actually make it, it ramps up the imposter syndrome. And I don't know if you've had imposter syndrome, but oh my God. I mean, I still get it from time to time, but I had it bad with anything I was doing. Like, what the hell do I think I can do this for? Man, I would just beat myself up. Ugh, it's horrible. But I'll tell you also what. Here's the 3rd time that mistake I referenced in the opening. Pops up in all these, but I'll get to that in a little bit. When feedback hits, though, that fragile confidence that you have when you're creating this fake it till you make it world, and it collapses because it was never grounded in proof. Fake it till you make it can work if you're taking steps there. You start faking it, and then you take steps to get better. And then it starts to become grounded in proof. But if you're just faking it till you make it and just expecting to get there, I lived that cycle for so damn long. Perform, doubt, hide, repeat. But I never took steps to get better. I never took constructive criticism constructively, so to speak. So the fix wasn't louder hype. It was building identity from evidence, not more of the fake it till you make it and guru stuff, not alpha posturing, not high status hacks, and not confidence scripts, just reps and receipts. So I want you to shift to reps and receipts. Confidence grows when you can point to small wins and say, hey, I did that. Start an evidence bank. Each day, log 3 micro wins tied to the skill you're trying to grow or the goal that you have. Keep them tiny, keep them specific. As I tell everyone, take action, even if it's a small action, a small step outside your comfort zone, because our subconscious tries to keep us in our comfort zone and out of our growth zone because it's scary and you might fail. But failure isn't bad and scary can be good. That's how you know you're going in the right direction. So just keep it small, a tiny step out of your comfort zone. You can always grow it, all right? You can always take bigger steps. So again, keep them tiny and specific. 1, I published 1 short with a hook revision today. 2, I wrote 150 words after work for a script or a blog post. 3, maybe I said no to an extra scroll on my phone today, and I started my timer and focused for 10 more minutes. Whatever it is can be really small. It's not about ego. It's about calibration. What's working, what's not. And as you start to enter these in your journal or notebook, again, it shouldn't take long. You start to see consistency. You start to see what's going wrong and why, and you can point to evidence, and then you remove that. All right? So here's how to make it stick. Reframe your self-talk to, I'm becoming the kind of person who shows up for 20 minutes, even when it's messy. Then do a weekly review. Do a weekly review of all your receipts. Even if it's just 10 minutes, it feels good. You know what? You did it. Look for patterns. Where did focus hold? What helped with focus? What helped you achieve what you wanted to? What didn't? Well, where did you get distracted? What can you remove from the equation? What can you make easier so you don't get distracted in the future? And use that to set your next reps. Now, your identity, it's not wishful anymore. It's earned. You're doing it one line at a time, one step, one small baby step outside your comfort zone at a time. Common mistakes. Overpromising to yourself. Big one. Avoiding feedback because it stings. Avoiding feedback and not taking constructive criticism is huge. I used to be very bad at that. And chasing validation instead of mastery. The game changer for me that no one really talks about, but I freaking love, is the fear to first rep rule. So if it scares you, schedule the smallest possible first rep today, now, if possible. Not tomorrow, not the next day, today. Fear means you're going in the right direction. It means you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Any putting it off, you're procrastinating, all right? If you put it off, you're procrastinating. So instead, you do it today and you start to diffuse it, even if it's just such a small action. Today, hit publish on that first draft of your blog post. Send that email, whatever your goal is, right? Record one take without editing. Throw out that short with your face on camera for the first time on Instagram or YouTube. Just get it done, get it out there. It's such a great feeling. You're ripping that Band-Aid off. Really one of the coolest things I've ever learned, and because we all have days where we feel stuck or anxiety takes over, spiral, anxiety, overwhelm, they hate momentum. Fear hates action. So you want to take action, you want to gain momentum by doing things consistently, all right? You feel that fear, you feel anxiety, take an action, get some momentum. That stuff works and you start to diffuse them, all right? And if you remember nothing else, remember that evidence always beats pretending. Look, like I said, there's a place for affirmations and visualization. I do them, but you have to take the steps to get there. And you have to start to build that evidence bank. And then when the imposter voice shows up the next time, being that jerk that he or she is, your receipts can answer back. And hey, I'm the type of person that grows into this. I'm the type of person that learns how to do whatever the hell I want. All right. Even on shaky days, your receipts will answer back. All right. Let's jump to the 7-day mindset experiment and some journaling prompts. This is an action plan for you to take action. So, but really quickly before we dive into it, I know I've been talking about the one mistake that kind of is woven or weaved or whatever its way through all of these 3 shifts, myths and mindset shifts. And it's really this. It's that you're building identity and systems based on intensity and belief. Instead of evidence and consistency are key. When you build them on identity and belief, when you build the systems on identity and belief, it's shaky ground at best. Any little thing can knock you off. But when you build it on evidence and consistency, it's huge. I mean, this shows up in the hustle trap we talked about. It shows up in the magical thinking. It shows up in the fake confidence, right? Fake it till you make it. And once you see it, all 3 of these myths, they collapse a little bit. They're kind of one. It's like kind of one thing, and that's why I was talking about it throughout. But here's how to fix it all with a 7-day experiment to test all 3 shifts. It's tiny, it's trackable, and it's reality checked. All right, so each day has 3 moves. 1 MVE block, a quick whoop, check-in, and 3 evidence bank entries. Keep it simple, and you can win daily. So, days 1 and 2, you define a 20-minute minimum viable effort that you can do even when you're tired. All right? Sorry for the airplane or helicopter flying overhead. Jeez. So set your whoop for your main goal and create 1 automatic trigger. Same time, right after coffee, right after your commute, right after lunch, whatever it is. Log your time, log your focus score, and 1-line progress in the 5-minute review. Days 3 and 4, add a constraint. All right, same time, same place, same setup. Write an if-then for your top obstacle. Maybe you already knew at the beginning and you already did this, but maybe you didn't.